Hi everyone, I'm Steven from Tostemac. If you've been watching my autism videos for a while now, thank you very much by the way, you'll probably know that I always do my best to select topics that I think would best serve the audience. Whether it be bringing awareness to a situation, making a call to action, or more often, both. Although today, I'm gonna be a little selfish and pick a topic that's been on my mind for a while now. Something that I've been doing for years and years and never really got around to understanding it. That topic being autism and repetitive behavior. Or in short, why do I keep repeating myself? Repeating myself! Repeating myself!
Hey, editor! Knock it off already!
To make it clear, in this video, I'll be sharing with you what I've learned in terms of what is repetitive behavior, when is it good or when is it bad, and whether or not to intervene with the behavior in question. Mind you about a couple of things though. Repetitive behaviors, while they may be a strong sign of autism, is not restricted to autism alone. There are other mental disabilities that have repetition involved, such as ADHD, Rett syndrome, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, and schizophrenia. It's not unique to autism. The other thing is that this video is not going to provide a complete formula for all situations, seeing as how each autistic is different and thus must be treated differently for each one. It's impossible to make one single answer to fit everybody. That being said, what exactly counts as repetitive behavior? At first glance, it seems pretty easy enough, an action repeated a series of times. However, according to my research, repetitive behavior can actually be categorized into two groups. One of them being lower order repetitive behavior that includes basic actions like rocking back and forth, flapping your arms, fidgeting, repeating certain quotes, and so on. The other being higher order repetitive behavior, which is a bit more involved, like routines and rituals, insistence on things being the same, or intense focus. These activities can be a show they watch every week, a game they love to play, or maybe as simple as hunting bugs. Simply put, lower order is more basic and foretelling, whereas higher order is more specific and usually implicates a more detailed reasoning. As I was reading this, and I'll leave the link in the description down below, I actually found this to be very useful, as it helped me find explanations to certain repetitive behaviors, or at the very least, point me in the right direction. On to the next part. When are repetitive behaviors good, and when are they bad? It's all in the matter of what is happening when the behavior occurs. We'll begin with the repetitive behavior being good. This is when the action in question is non-destructive, helps reduce anxiety, generates awareness of the body, focuses one's concentration, or helps deal with overwhelming senses and emotions. In other words, it's whenever the behavior does not hurt anyone and instead helps one to focus, adapt, and even grow. For instance, I tend to pace around a lot, both at work and at home, but I'm not just wandering around aimlessly. I pace in order to think and brainstorm about whatever I need to do next, as I find that I focus better when I'm more active and moving around, as opposed to just sitting or standing still in one place. It's kinda hard to feel the brain cells at work. Another case in point, just because someone has an intense focus on a certain creature, TV series, or game, that doesn't make it completely bad. If anything, these focused interests can lead to making friends, or even opening the door to possible careers. Just look into the life of Satoshi Tajiri and how his career got started, and you'll see my point.
And you're sure you are using the correct picture this time? And not the other one?
Yes, please don't remind me about that mistake. I had to apologize all over Facebook.
I'm not the one who mixed them up, pal. Just saying.
Moving on to the other side of this coin, we also need to address when specific repetitive behaviors are bad. They are bad when the activity causes harm to oneself or others, like headbanging, scratching, punching, kicking, grabbing. You get the general gist. Certain exertions can also be bad when they impede someone from interacting with peers outside of home, prevent them from engaging in family and school activities, intervene with the process of making friends and good social connections, or possibly get the individual into trouble because of said repetitive behavior. Wrapping it all up with a bow, if the particular behavior gets in the way of an individual's growth, prevents participation with others, or causes harm, then the behavior is bad. Now we have a clear line between when a repetitive behavior is good or when it is bad. Of course, knowing all this is one thing, but how to intervene with a repetitive behavior is an entirely different matter. After all, if you're not careful or don't know what you're doing, you might end up making the situation much worse. The first question that should be asked about this is not necessarily how to stop a repetitive behavior, but rather, should you need to intervene in the first place? If the repetitive behavior is not hurting anybody and is helping the individual adapt and grow, then there's not really a need to do anything about it. Sure, some people may look at you kind of funny at times, but if the repetitive behavior isn't doing anything bad, does it really matter? You only need to intervene if the repetitive behavior is harmful or preventing the individual from growing or interacting. And while I don't have a spreadsheet for every scenario, there are 2 steps you can take as a good start. Look at what the repetitive behavior is and what is going on in the surroundings at the current time. These 2 observations should be able to give some clues as to what needs to be done. What do I mean by that? To help explain this, we'll look into 2 different examples. Imagine for the first one, you and the autistic child are at the grocery store. And for the sake of argument, let's say it's a very busy day with lots of people. You notice the autistic child is covering their ears, rocking back and forth, and making a humming sound. The reason for this repetitive behavior could simply be that the autistic child is overwhelmed by all the energy around them, and thus could be stimming in order to release built-up energy, or try to cope with the environment. This could stress out many autistic people, so a simple solution could be to just go to the grocery store at a later time. Try to see if the store is less busy at certain times, or even if they have a special hour arranged for those with special needs. This small and simple change should be able to reduce the energy in your environment and in turn reduce or maybe even stop the repetitive behavior. The other example is something I'm willing to bet a lot of parents want to know about. If the repetitive behavior is harmful. If you see this behavior for the first time, you'll want to stop the behavior by wrapping your arms around the person to stop the individual from hurting themselves. Do your best to not get aggressive though. Remember, you are trying to calm the individual down, not agitate them further. If you have seen it a few times already, pay close attention to some of the triggers and pre-signed events so you can get ahead of the curve. Be it either distracting the individual or altering certain elements in your surroundings, if at all possible. You may also want to apply some protective gear, like a helmet or some mittens, so long as they stop the individual from hurting themselves. Feel like you might need some extra help? No problem. You can ask other people within the autistic community. There are plenty of autism groups on Facebook, you just have to reach out to them. If you need more professional help, you can seek out a therapist or medical expert to share with them all the details of the repetitive behavior and what can be done about it. They might recommend substitutes for the behavior or maybe even medication if need be. Just be sure to tell them everything the experts need to know so they can help you find the appropriate solution. Well, there you have it. I hope you found this video about repetitive behavior to be very informative. I know I did. What do you think, though? Do you agree or disagree? What has your experience been with repetitive behaviors? Let us know in the comments section below and let's start a conversation here. And on that note, it's time to end the video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Tostemac to stay up to date in our latest videos. Also, next week there will not be a new video because it'll be my birthday. And if I may be perfectly honest with you all, I need a break from 2020. So again, thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, see you later. Thomas? Bring me the most exquisite yellow cake with the finest chocolate frosting.
Yeah, good luck with getting Thomas to do that for you, birthday boy.